All right. So let's go ahead and share this out. That's not what I mean. I need to actually share this. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and share this out. What's up, Robert? How's it going, man? In the top. All right. Let's go and do Phrozen. Hello, everyone. How is it going today? Let's do this. We're gonna do it. It's right here. It's right there. What's up, Eddie? Carl, how's it going, man? All right. Let's just sharing out a little bit, and then we'll get to it in a second here. Uh, how much? Just unbox my Voxelab Proxima 6. Oh, good printer. I personally think that the Kingaroon KP6 is a little bit better, but I mean that's not a bad machine, especially when they were on sale there for a little bit. So, what's up, James? How's it going? Killing time in Jacksonville, waiting on my truck to head back to Pensacola. My Sidewinder X2 will be at the house tomorrow. Sweet. What number resin printer? Well, let's count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Technically, there's number 13 still in a box. Actually, there might be 14. I don't know. Either one. But there's this will be technically number 12 that's out here. And then there's four FDM printers, and then there's about 12 or 13 in the back wall here. So, yeah. So if you guys want, go ahead and share this out, and we'll get on it here in a quick second. Let's see. Where is that? There we go. Just paste this. I am live. I hope so. Johnny 5 alive. Do you use build plates like the Wham Bam on your resin printers? I do not. So I used to have them on my printers. This was back when the Creality LD-00H or 002H, sorry, just came out, and I used them on printers. And for smaller printers, I found that it wasn't useful. It wasn't making my time any quicker, because the spatulas that I have are very good spatulas. Like if you find a nice super thin spatula, yeah, this has seen better days, but I mean this is my go-to. Or you use something like that, a straight razor, you know, using those, I can remove stuff just as quickly from the build plate. So when it comes to medium-sized printers, like this one or the bigger ones, then okay, it might be a little bit more usable. But then my other worrisome is, what if I do a large, heavy print? What's going to happen to that? Because those magnets don't hold up that well. Like that's a lot of weight to be suspended from that. So it's not going to work very well. So. Just give me 2 more minutes, okay? And I'll get to you guys here in a second. Come on. Why did I do that? All right, let's see. What's up, Ben? How's it going? Yeah, I usually do streaming all alone. If you look at my YouTube channel, most of it is anytime I do an unboxing, it's always by myself. It's only late at night that I'm just kind of bored and sitting here tinkering with stuff that I usually go live and I do some chit chatting with some people. But yeah, if you guys can, go ahead and share this out to your friends, regardless of what stream you're on, and we'll get everything situated here. I'll start unboxing this here in a minute. I just want to make sure I get all the people that were asking about this situated. Okay. Thank you, Jerry, for sharing. Ooh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, well. I'm going to have to open up a new window. I had a window with all the specs on it. I just noticed that I don't have the build volume on this. I'll have to look. Oh, no, there we go. I found it. Okay. Yes, this is live. Yes, it is, sir. What's up, Steven? How's it going? Steven, I got to get with you to get you that filament. Speaking of which, anybody that is watching, we will probably end up doing a redraw for that Ender 5 Pro that we gave away, because I have not heard from the winner. And when I went to go and try and find the winner, his name did not show up. So I don't know if he's banned from YouTube or what's going on. So we're gonna have to redraw, and if he comes back and they say that they won, well then we'll have to give him something else. So hello to everyone just recently found this great channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Dean. I don't consider myself a professional in any way, shape, or form, but hey, if you want to take my advice, great. I will say that I'm not always right, but I try to provide the best information that I can for anybody that's getting into 3D printing. Hence why I created a group called 3D Printing for Noobs on Facebook that basically helps people get into the world of 3D printing. So, good man, my TikTok is taking off and my Etsy shop has had a few orders. I'm really loving this. Awesome. Good to hear. You really got me started on something fun. You're probably like the 20th person, and you'll probably end up like the rest of them down the rabbit hole where you have multiple printers, a year down the road. So I just added you in the mini Facebook group saying looking forward to your stream because I am not sure if it comes with a screen protector or not. I don't believe it does, but with that being said, I know I will be probably working very closely with Mach 5, who I have lots of stuff for. I worked with them on the Frozen Sonic Mega, and I'll probably end up working with them on the Frozen Sonic Mini. So let's see. Yo, what's up, Matt? What's up, man? I've been waiting on this since TikTok. Let's go. Heck yeah, I would love to have that printer. Matt, have you heard anything on the Ender 3 S1? It's actually available on Amazon, or at least it was last night when I was looking at it. There was about 5 units available, and I'll be honest, for the price and what you get for that printer, I wouldn't touch it. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the CR Touch or whatever they want to call their version of the BL Touch. It is a little bit better, but it's still a probe that can break. In my opinion, there's a printer right down here called the Mingda Magician X. It's a far better buy. It's about the same price range too. So let's see. I have one on the way. You have helped me, that's for sure. Glad to hear. Shared from YouTube on my group. Yes, thank you very much, Jerry. You've been recommending the Mach 5 screen protector in the Mega group as much as possible. Oh, you've been doing it. Yeah, I'm like, I know I haven't yet, because I still have the original prototypes. Actually, I have the 2 original prototypes right here of when we were doing measurements. So, let's see here. Trying to catch up on stuff, and then we'll get it unboxing here. So, yeah, I've been recommending smash the like button. Yes, absolutely, smash that like button. That would be awesome. What a lucky dog. After Xmas, I'll be getting it. Hope you do videos on it. I will be doing a lot of videos on it. Holla at me on Twitter. I think Bethany said she PM'd you, but not sure which platform. That's very strange. I'm usually very on top of that, but I'll take a look again. I could have messaged her and then just put it aside because my ADHD is out of sight, out of mind, literally. So, that's just kind of how that goes. Hi, Matt. I just switched from Facebook stream to the YouTube stream on Facebook. One keeps freezing. Yeah, I have a feeling that that's going to happen. Obviously, it looks fine on my side, but I can't tell, between Facebook's and YouTube's streaming platforms. They're all kind of, glitchy. And we are streaming on like 5 different platforms, so that could also be why it's a little glitchy too. So I should probably condense that down a little bit more onto maybe just YouTube next time. So I will be, depends on how long it takes to get to me in the UK. How often do you find yourself replacing your FEP sheets? So in the 3 years that I've been printing, it was 3 years this November, I was resin printing. I've been resin printing. I've had well over 30 machines in my hands. And the total number of FET films that I've replaced is about 4. all of them were my fault. Uh, One was on an Elegoo Mars, one was on the Wii box, which I just realized that I pierced that one the other day. I mean, it still works, but we just got to clean up the screen afterwards. I'm not really worried about it, but we'll have to replace that one because what's happening is one of the sets of parts that this thing prints is it prints the one side, but the other side is just it's busted. So it's kind of pointless. But we'll just keep printing them because it's a waste of like 20 cents in plastic. So I'm not really too worried about it. Anyway, yeah, about 4 FEP sheets total out of 30 plus machines and 3 years of resin printing. Screens, I've replaced 3 in my entire time. And that's about it. That's the only things that I've replaced on printers. I haven't replaced anything else except for USB drives. I always replace USB drives with these things. I go out and I buy a bunch of these. These are SanDisk Cruisers, and they're just 16 gigs. They're nothing spectacular. You don't want to really go over that because the processing on them, you don't want to have too much processing going on. You want them to be as quick as possible. So 16 gigabyte I found is like a good happy medium where there's enough space to store hundreds of files on it and not being too much storage or too slow. So let's see, to wham bam this or not wham bam this? This is the question. So supposedly this has some sort of featured build plate that the Anycubics have. I'm looking at it right now on the screen, where it has like that diamond texture. For me, I will probably not be using Wham Bam, but I will probably contact them to get the sizing for people who want that. But me personally, it's just not for me. I moved away from those about a year ago when they became a huge hit. Like I said, the last machine I used it on was the Saturn and the Creality LD-002H or LDH as I call it. Cool, appreciate the info on the S1. I'm really just excited for the hot end assembly, but I'll check out the printer you mentioned. That's about the only thing that machine has going for it, but in typical Creality fashion, I'm sure they've dumbed it down in some way, shape, or form to save costs. But I mean, basically the Mingda is a little bit better in my opinion. The only thing that I wish that the Mingda had was a flex plate system. Other than that, it's a pretty solid printer. And if you're okay with the textured glass beds, then okay, you're perfectly fine. So Facebook is temperamental at best. Yes, exactly. 35 nm resolution of the 2022 dental rig. I don't know what that is. Is that the one, the high tech or whatever? The Rocket One you're talking about, Fantasy? All right. So throw that out. And let's get to this. All right, so Phrozen sent us this to test out and review and show off to everybody else here. So thank you guys for joining the stream. If you are not a subscriber, please go ahead and think about being a subscriber. Hey, every little person helps, and that would be great. I don't expect you guys to, but if you want, go right ahead. I don't do this for subscribers or anything like that. It's for fun, to give you guys my real peace of mind on the products that I'm reviewing. So anyway, so Phrozen sent us the new Phrozen Sonic Mini 8K, and they also sent us a brand new bottle of the Aqua Gray 8K. And I'll be honest, I don't know too much about this. I didn't read into it. I doubt it's going to be anything spectacular, considering like the 4K resin that I've been using has just been about the same as a 2K resin, or regular resin, I should say. It's not even 2K, but regular resin, in my opinion. There's nothing spectacular about it. It might just be marketing. I don't know. But who knows? Maybe with this printer, we might get a different look into that, and it might actually work the way that it's intended. So we'll have to see. Are you aware of any new printers coming out from Phrozen, like a mighty 8K in the works? If I did, I probably couldn't tell you anyway. This one was kind of kept hush hush. I've known about this way longer than most people have. But Frozen's basically given me the okay to unbox it here. I got it yesterday. We were supposed to get it at the end of November, but some supply chain shortages for chips and everything, and like the whole issue with China and Taiwan, I think it is. Taiwan? Yeah, because that's where this is from, right? Taiwan. Um, anyway, the whole issue between them two is going on right now, so you guys may or may not have heard about it. So, but yeah, that's the issues that's been going on and why shipping prices are ridiculous because they're trying to stronghold them to become part of China, and it's a whole issue thing. But I'm not going to get into that. Let's get into the printer. So let's get in it. The Mingda printers look pretty good. I agree. I wasn't a big fan of the Rock Pro or anything like that, but the newer ones that they got that came out are pretty nice. So, got my tape or something stuff. All right, let's try and get this. Oh God, I'm breaking things. All right. Can we take this out all in one shot? Nope. Denied. How are we gonna do it? So it is packaged pretty well. It's got some pretty thick foam all around the corners and an even thicker top. Or I'm sorry, they're all the same thickness. So it's packaged pretty well. On the corners here we have I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but basically it's got extra cardboard, thick cardboard on the corners here. So it is packaged very well. Make sure nothing's rattling around or anything like that. Ooh. I do not see any parts. I really hope that there's parts in there because I do not see anything. Let's double check this. Make sure there's nothing in there. Nope. I don't see a power supply or nothing. I'm already kind of worried. I really hope everything is in there. I see a box now. Is it another more packaging than printer? No. But that's kind of nice because that machine that's right there, that's the one that was way more packaging than the printer. Like, it literally suctioned the printer inside there. That's good that they have that much packaging because, no matter what happens, even if, UPS or FedEx decides to kick it down the stairs, you're still going to get a solid printer regardless. So, all right. So pretty much it comes packaged like this. We have our surrounding, I guess, styrofoam, I guess you could call it. And then we have our box with hopefully all the parts in it. Probably inside the case underneath the build plate. Yeah, right here is the box full of parts. Come on. I evidently need a new knife. I've said that before. Or at least that to be sharpened. So I will say that it's not packaged as well as the other Frozen printers. Like when I got the Sonic Mini, the Sonic Mega, and the Sonic Mighty, they were all like super wrapped up and everything. Your guys, whoever bought this, you might have a different experience. I don't know if they're going to change anything, but yeah, it's definitely a little different in terms of packaging. It's not as crazily packaged. So we do have a new, different hood. I'm kind of sad about that. I really like the black hoods, like you guys can probably see right there. That's the Sonic Mini, and we can take that and give you guys a side by side if anybody really wants me to. I don't think I can grab the Sonic Mighty because it's down here and getting to that is going to be a pain because there's a lot of stuff in the back there. I'm kind of cleaning up the basement today if I can. Um, yeah, and wrapping the Mega was an experience. Yeah, absolutely. So I do miss the black hoods, but I guess we can live with this. It's not the end of the world. That's just a personal preference. So we have some extra foam right there. $1 million question is, are we able to get this out? I don't know. Uh-oh. There we go. A little bit of finagling and we're good. All right, so let's take a look at this before we unbox that. So these are basically the same style knobs as the Mega. That's right. So they have the plastic caps on the top and then pretty long screws on the bottom here. Our vat is a metal vat. Wow, that is hefty. And like they said, there is the little nubs on the bottom there, so you can rest it on the table and not worry about anything touching your fat film. Let's check the tension of this. Hello, 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 hello. I think that's pretty good. Check, check, 1, 2. But yes, it is on all metal vats, so very, very nice that they went back to the metal vats. I'm very happy about that. And that's pretty much the machine right here. It is a little bit heavier, so it actually feels more heavy than the Sonic Mighty, which is just slightly bigger. The Sonic Mighty feels real, like I don't, well, cheap, to be honest. That's what the Sonic Mighty kind of feels like. It's cheap. It's very, very light. This one's got some heft to it. It's like, it's up there with like a medium-sized printer. Maybe not as heavy, but it's pretty bulky. So, not too bad. Oh, I think there's one feature I'm gonna like, and I hope it works. Let's check it out. No, it's not gonna work. No! Dang it. I was hoping that they would design this as squared so I can put this and rest it on its side like that. So I don't have to make have somebody make a build plate holder. But this is the build plate. You guys can see that checkered pattern that they were talking about. I know it's kind of hard to focus on here. Focus! There we go. So there's the checkers on there. Supposedly that's to promote adhesion, and it is very, very fine, intricate little little diamond shapes. So it's not just diamonds that you see. There's diamonds inside of it. Kind of like the Secret S, you know, if you're a mid-90s person that grew up in high school around that time, you know, like, all right. So hopefully there's power supply in here. But yeah, it's not a bad looking machine. So we have our after sale service warranty, which is not going to really matter for me. We have our quick start guide. We'll take a look at that in a second. We have a power cord. No, does this use regular power? That would be awesome. No, it doesn't. Wah, wah. I was hoping. That's one thing I kind of like about the Creality machines is they actually have a power supply embedded inside of it. You don't have to use these ridiculous bricks. So this uses 24 volts at 3 amps. So not too bad. It's a little bit more than most printers. But the reason probably for that is it does use what's called an integral light source, which is what the Creality Hellet series printers have. And basically what it is like most of the printers, like the cheap ones, do cob light sourcing where it's a single light. And then there's like a hood that goes out and evens out the light source as best as it can. That's probably the worst. That's usually on like Elegoo or Calent printers. Those are like really, really cheap, low budget, low quality printers. Then there's the Matrix LEDs, which I never was a big fan of. And those are pretty much on most of the printers that you see nowadays that are like medium size. There's not too many that I know of that are on smaller ones, except for like the higher end ones. And those are even different. Like there's different variations of it as well. So, um, but yeah, the most of the medium sized printers have those, and larger have them. But this is like got all the new technology on it. So this has the integral source where there's a light source that points this way, and then there's a mirror that sits at an angle, and it basically sits like this. So the light source hits it, and then it bounces back up onto the entire screen and gives you that the super even light source. I can't tell you how great that light source is and how important it is to get the most finest of prints. Because I will tell you, out of any printers that I've had recently, the Hallett series printers have given me the best results in terms of like quality on a print, just because of that. At least I think that's what it is, because that's the only difference between that. So they did include a different power supply. This is not like really a European one, I don't think, but kind of a strange one. Obviously, we're not going to use that. We have our little cup, some gloves. We have our plastic scraper. And then we have a pretty large scraper. That's actually kind of nice that they include that large of a scraper. Like, that gets the whole build plate, man. Look at that. That's almost the whole build plate. That's a nice scraper. Oh, and it's engraved with Frozen's logo on it. Wow, that's fancy. They really pulled out all the stops on this one. Wow, they're getting bougie. But the problem that I have with these is the thickness. Like I said, a good scraper, like this thing is ultra thin compared to this thing where it's nice and chunky. Now, they don't really look much different, but I'm sure if I busted out the micrometer, you can see. So let's go ahead and do a measurement. So the one I currently use is at 0.5 millimeters. Jesus, 0.50. And this one is 1. It's 1 millimeter thick. So it's about double the size. So it could work. We'll have to try it out, but it's nice that it's a large and it's a nice meaty one. It's thick, it's heavy. It's not cheap and flimsy, so you don't have to worry about like it feeling like it's gonna break. So as usual, they include their SanDisk Cruiser 8 gig. They include a Allen key, some stuff to scratch up the build plate if you absolutely need that. I've never really needed to do that, so that's just something I've never needed to really do. And then looks like some stickers. Oh, we could put some stickers up on the wall. These are kind of nifty. So we have a black Frozen sticker and a red Frozen sticker. So you get a sticker. Channel my inner Jill. All right. So now that we got that all set up, I already have power ran, so we're not going to use the regular power cord that came with it. So we're going to get this all set up and plug it in and see what we got for test prints and go from there. And the moment of truth. It's broken! Oh, there we go. Turned it on the wrong way. Do you level the build plate on the screen or with your VAT installed? I always do it with the screen, so no VAT. I usually will take a card and do it that way. This provides the warranty card. This is a little thicker than I usually use. So like here, this is a little bit thinner. This is actually a calibration card for this printer right here. And this will work just fine. It's a little bit thicker than some A4 paper, but it should do just fine. So Bethany said she hit you up on Facebook, told her you're busy at the moment. Really? Okay, maybe I did. I don't remember. I will definitely get to it though. So my apologies for that. So is it called Frozen or Broken? Oh no, it's Frozen. So same setup as same setup as the Mini, the Mighty, and the Mega. Is the new Mini, has the same screen information as any of those printers. We're going to turn off sound because I absolutely hate the beeps. Tools, we have manual leveling, LCD test, VAT cleaning, and Z calibration. So we're going to do an LCD test and see how it looks. Our LCD works perfectly fine. Okay. I don't see any issues with anything. And it looks like they might have something to tone down the light, actually, which I'm not sure if that was a good idea, but what is it? It's a deflector, basically. So, but yeah, I'm going to plug this in. And then let's go ahead and read the instructions and see if it's pre-leveled or not. Usually I don't level these. We'll do a print and then see if it needs leveling. But let's see. For first-time use, please thoroughly follow the steps down below to calibrate your Z-axis and conduct the LCD test so that your printer is ready to print. So they do suggest doing that. That's literally step number 3. So step 1 is just introduction. Oh God, whiteout. Introduction. It basically just tells you the printer parts, all the what's included in here, all the information. Now, this does say Slicer software, Sheet2Box version 1.9 or above. But I will tell you that I know that Lychee is currently working on this, and if they need to, I will work with them on it. But I know they already have a unit. I believe I'm the second person to have a unit here. So I'm sure you'll see more trickle down with my fellow YouTubers getting their units. But anyway, let's see here. So it does have like maintenance, clean the Z-axis, then apply a thin layer of general lubricant on it so that it whirls smoothly. Using sanitized alcohol and tissue paper, please clean the printer, the resin vat, and the building plate. So they do specifically specify that you should use like rubbing alcohol, IPA, which most of you guys should have anyway, to clean the printer in general over a period of time. Protective measurements, stable printing environment. LCD test, we already did that. Click on tools, then Z calibration. And then it does suggest an A4 piece of paper, which I don't think I have around here. I might have to run and grab one. I don't think I have. Oh, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Aha, I do. You don't know what you are, but you're being used. Oh, you're just a parts list. So you're going to be used regardless. So, all right. So let's go ahead and do probably a better one. There we go. That's a little better. It doesn't look like crap. So happy they got it working for the Mega. Lychee has a lot of nice features on the Mega that I like. See, I've had Lychee for about a year now. Yeah, it's probably been about a year since they came out. And I've had Pro, and I've probably used it a handful of times. It's just they're more or less like if somebody needs help with something, I can help them out and get them situated. But I do like the new feature that they have for resin profiles. I'm not 100% on board with it because even though my resin profile might work for somebody that's a couple states away, somebody that's 3,000 miles away, it probably will not work because you got to factor in sea level, ambient temperatures, like every little thing factors. So one thing that I do like that they put on there is it's kind of more or less a starting point. Like you shouldn't use that as I'm just going to use this profile and click and print and it'll work. That's not always the case, but hey, sometimes it does. So anyway, let's go ahead and do Z calibration. Remove the resin vat. So you were asking, who was it earlier? Blank. You asked if you level the plates on the screen or with the vat. On here, it specifically says Please remove the resin vat. Place one A4 paper on the LCD. Unscrew 4 screws on the sides of the building plate. So we will do that per their instructions. Wherever I put that one single. Yeah, man. All right. So we will level this per their instructions. Like I said, I usually don't level it, but we'll just do it for the heck of it. Why not? It don't take that long. I'm going to make sure that's nice and loose. Okay. Now I'm going to see, wait until the building plate touches the LCD, then tighten all 4 screws. Tug the paper, wait until the building plate. So on here, it does suggest that you tighten the front left one first. So the one closest to the front of the printer. Again, I think Phrozen told on Facebook that the AK is already level. Yeah, usually they are. Just like the Mega, that one definitely is pre-leveled. But we're gonna level it for the heck of it. You know, I usually don't, but we might as well just go through the steps for everybody's all intensive purposes. So it's kind of loud. I don't know if this is lubricated, so we should probably put some lubrication on it. We're gonna do it anyway, just for the heck of it. So I use DuPont non-stick dry film lubricant. So I use that on pretty much all my printers, and we'll just lube the Z really quick just to make sure everything's good. Go right up the top here. All right, that should be more than enough. All right, so we are a little bit. What did I do with that? There it is. Okay, so on the instruction it does say to do the front left here. So I'm gonna basically take my hand like this, all right, and I'm gonna put it down, put my 2 fingers in the middle of the build plate, and then these two, my rocking hands, are gonna go on the sides of the build plate, and we're basically gonna press down while we're tightening it. So this is a 2-hand operation. This is how I level pretty much all my build plates, the same way. And this is one of the reasons why I like these 4-point systems, because they just make it super easy. So we're just going to go like that. We're going to go to the front left, back right. And then back left. I'm going to screw these in a little bit just so we don't have to screw them in too far. Again, always putting pressure down on the build plate while we tighten these. And once they're tight, we're going to go ahead and check that. So there is a little bit of play. All right, tighten 4 screws, make sure paper is unremovable. And then we're going to press done. Thanks for the video. Can't wait for my mini 8K. Awesome. Glad to hear, bud. Okay. So on the manual Z, we have 0.1, 1 millimeter, and 10 millimeter. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take out the USB drive and take all the contents off of it. That's usually what I do, or at least copy it, I should say. All right, so we have a test print on there. We also have a guide. So they do include the XP Finder as an STL, which is really, really awesome. I like that a lot. Phrozen test, that might be the test thing that's included on there. But basically, let's see, it says please read. Let's go ahead and share the screen so you guys see what I'm looking at. All right. So let's go ahead and share this. Hopefully you guys can read that small writing. If not, I can put it on the bigger screen for you. So it basically says, use this USB file to install the slicer software, read the user manual, and conduct a test print on your 3D printer. Slicer software, you may use Linux, Mac, or Windows 64 operating system to install Sheet2Box slicer software. Make sure to visit Phrozen's official website for the latest software version, which I believe the fine people over at Lychee just sent me an updated firmware for the printer. We'll have to take a look at that. The user manual we did, test print file, we provide you with 3 separate printing files in this USB to meet your printing needs. Phrozen Test Mini 8K, that's probably the ring. That's usually what they have for testing. This file is located on the outmost layer of your USB.ctb file, performing the test print, blah, blah, blah. And this is for the Aqua Gray 8K. Then there's Phrozen Test Print 1 STL. This file is located in the Sonic Mini 8K Starter Guide. The XP Finder, which that's what I've been using consistently on all my printers from now on. When using this USB for 3D printing purposes, please only store .ctb files in the USB and make sure to save the current files on your computer. This helps to speed up the file loading process on the printer. Exactly what I basically just said. So the printer behind you, is it a Mega 4K or a Mega 8K? It is the Mega 8K. That big boy right there is the brand new Mega 8K. So I got that probably, what, about 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago now? It's been a while. So I got it before anybody else, actually. I was the first one to have that. So anyway, then we have follow Phrozen, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and official website. So I already follow all that. We're good on that. So basically, we're good to start printing here. Let me, like I said, let me copy all the contents over here and put them in my files. I always keep them in a file system just in case anybody needs them, or if I need them for any, all intents and purposes. I have a specific folder that says printer stuff, and I usually just, anytime I get a brand new printer, I will copy all the contents off of the USB drive, because Creality specifically is the reason why I do this, because every single time I use a Creality USB and plug it into my computer, by the second time that I use it, it's literally wiped clean. So I always copy it over now. Phrozen Sonic 8K. Okay, so now we are going to copy all the contents over from here. Copy and paste. Okay, so we'll give that a minute. It's going to take 15 seconds. So, the Mega 8K is freaking awesome. I love mine. I agree. Basically, all my printers have been neglected quite a bit just because of that printer. And it's just because of the sheer size. That printer is actually, I got to give it credit for taking me out of my comfort zone, because
before that printer came along, I used to just print whole size models. Like if they were pieced together models, I would never do it. It was just something I didn't ever want to do. I don't know. I had a stigma about it. I don't know. And then I had my coworker ask me for a Broly print from Dragon Ball Z, and he's like, "Can I get it like 24 inches in height?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I could do that." Not thinking about how big 24 inches is compared to millimeters. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know if we're going to do that. So I went ahead and I tried printing it as a single piece, as I think it was came out to be like 7 inches or something, because that's what one of the printers was. And it didn't work out so well. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just try it out. So not only did I do a piece together model, I also cut it myself. I pieced it together. I resin welded it together, and I printed it in multiple sections, all on that printer alone. So, like I said, it's definitely got me out of my comfort zone. So, um, at least 3 months. That's my next project. So, all right. So we got everything copied off of the USB drive. Let's go ahead and put this in here. We will set this up. Fits in there very nicely. All right. Where's our Phrozen? We'll take out the blender, put it in. Actually, we'll do it this way first. Cap up. Take it out. Put a cap up. All right. I think that's generally mixed. Dang it. That's a dope way to mix. Yeah, I thought about it one day. I saw a TikTok actually of some guy doing it with a spray paint can, and I was like, that would be perfect for mixing. I'm not sitting there, shaking away and doing this and doing that. And the other great thing is it doesn't have a lot of bubbles in it when you do it that way. So I need to make that. Literally, it's 4-inch PVC pipe that's just cut down to size. And funny enough, it's cut down to fit specifically these type of Frozen models. That's another thing that made me do it. So it looks like this is basically the same as the gray 4K, in my opinion, in terms of the way that it pours and everything and it sits. But who knows? It could be a different formulation. I don't know. By the way, there is one thing I forgot to mention. There is a max fill line on that too. So I don't know how much it holds, but I will say that this is considerably larger than the Frozen Sonic Mini. Obviously, you guys have probably seen the picture of it, but once we start this print, I'll bring the Sonic Mini back from there and I'll put it right next to it so you guys can get a comparison of the other two. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to grab the Mega or the Mighty, but maybe I'll try and grab that for you guys so you can see it all side by side. I never saw that mixing technique before. That's funny because I showed it off on a TikTok once and everybody was like, that's kind of dumb. And I'm like, you may think it's dumb until you use it. And all you need is like what? That was 10 seconds. Do it one way, then do it the other because it spins it both ways. So you do it upside down to the left, and then you turn it around, and then it goes to the right. So it mixes it up very well. And look, there's pretty much no bubbles. Like there's maybe 2 bubbles in there. So I noticed it works very, very well with clear resin because that's where I see the most bubbles with. So I have fallen in love with the Frozen Agua Ivory K4K. I agree, 100%. That's what I've been using pretty exclusively in that printer, and it's been great. In fact, just out of shot here, you guys can see the articulated dragon. I pulled off two of those, and since I've been having some temperature issues, one of the foot broke on that, but I did make two articulated dragons. So one of them came out actually pretty well. We just need to dunk them in some wash and get them cleaned up, and then we'll be all good. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this all set up, and we shall get our print on the way. So let's see what print it actually is. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the ring. That's usually what they include on here. Oh, it's a rook. That's kind of strange to see on a Phrozen printer. Usually I see that on Elegoo printers. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. I wish they had something a little different, but whatever. It is a Phrozen rook. But I guess we'll go ahead and do it. Screw it. All right. Really? Oh, see, you guys got that. See, I got it without everything in it. So, yeah, I didn't have that because mine was like an alpha unit almost. So, like I said, I got mine way before anybody else. So I don't even remember seeing a USB drive, right? Because yeah, because I'm using a separate USB drive. So I don't even know if I got a USB drive with that, or maybe I did, and I just didn't use the USB drive. I don't know. Maybe it's sitting in my drawer somewhere. No, no, because I have the files. Hold on. Let's see here. Another one. Like I said, I save them. I know I've seen it. Frozen Sonic 8K. Nope, I did not get one with that. Yeah, not the end of the world. I'm fine with that. I just got profiles and Shitu box included in it. So they came with a good quality USB drive though, an 8 gig SanDisk. Yes, yeah, that's one of the things that I really like about Frozen is that they may cheap on some things, but where it really counts, at least in my eyes, they don't. Like the build plates are usually very, very good on their printers. 4-point leveling system, absolutely love that. I cannot stand the ball joints or pop socket style systems. Those are my most hated style of prints. Oh, okay. Um, they started using the metal vats again. That's a great thing. The SanDisk USB drive, that was like the first thing that I was like, oh my god, it's a printer company that doesn't use like a cheap, really like Chinese plastic drive on that. Like they actually use a quality drive. I'm very, very surprised about that. Like that's kind of expensive to do on a mass production level because it's not even like a knockoff SanDisk. It's a true SanDisk. So I was always very surprised about that. So um, that is all embossed on there and everything. That's kind of nice. All right. I went straight to printing, didn't do a test print, came out flawlessly. Yeah, I should really stop doing test prints because I'll be honest, 9 times out of 10, they fail anyways. But supposedly this is set up for the 8K resin anyway. In fact, I wonder if we can see. So it's at 2 seconds and 35 for the base. And rest time is at 4. So it's pretty general settings. It's nothing spectacular. Like I know with the mini 4K had something insane. Like when you looked at the test prints on that and the exposure time, like they got it down to like the micron of a second. Like it is insane. Like the exposure time is like 1.34689 212 48 63 00. Like that's how down tune they got it. So it was insane. So honestly, everything I've seen on the Mini really is making me want to sell my Mono X ASAP. So the Mono X obviously is a little bit bigger than the Mini, but yeah, well, I think we're gonna try and pull out the Mighty here in a second. The quality seems so much better. We will see how quality is. So, as I've stated in any of my review videos, when it comes to like the 4K printers and the 8K printers, when it comes to quality, it's really going to be determined on the model that you are using, in my experience. Like if I go and pull a model from Thingiverse, 9 times out of 10, all these printers, regardless of what resolution they are pretty much all going to print them in the same exact quality. Now, the 4Ks might be a little bit better, but to the naked eye, you're not going to see that quality unless you bust out a camera and you start using a macro lens or even zooming in and just getting a good quality picture of it. Like that's when you're really going to see that type of that quality. But to the naked eye, you're not going to see that, in my opinion. At least in my printing experience, I have I have the Sonic Mini, and I also have the longer orange, which is even higher resolution. That's at 31. This is at 22. So so it is higher resolution than anything else that's out there. So let's see. Right? That's 22. Yeah, so it's 22. So this is supposed to be insanely high resolution compared to anything else. Because like most of these printers that you see in the shot are around 40 and 50 microns. This is 22. That's half of that. That's insane. So and then like I said, the Sonic Mini would be the closest one to it, which well that was 35, I believe. And then the longer orange 4K is at 31, and that's because it's got a smaller screen. So that the Mini has a 6.08 or a 6.1, and the longer has a 5.5. So the quality seems so much better. I would like a bottle holder in the vat like Elegoo did with the Jupiter. Now that's something I've been wanting to work on, and me and time just don't work together. So it's something that I've had in my pocket for years to do. Well, not years, about a year now. I've talked about it several times, and it's something that I've always wanted to do. And the thing is I wanted something. I want to try and develop something that is like almost a universal thing, where no matter what printer you have, you print a file that's an adapter that holds onto the back of a vat, and you can use it on any printer. But I have to do research on that. I have to make sure that I have the printer and do the things like that. And I just time is just not something I have, unfortunately. So you mean the Chinese know what genuine stuff is? Sometimes they do. It's rare, but if you spend the money, you can get some good Chinese products. You can. So, but that's the problem. People are not willing to spend the money. They just see, a small price tag for good quality stuff, and they think it's great, and it comes out to be just okay. So, yeah, I got the Mini 8K coming and a Mega 8K, so the need of my Mono X isn't needed. Yeah, once you get the Mega 8K, you'll probably not like if I had two of those machines, I probably wouldn't need anything else. I'll be completely honest. As much as I'm not a big fan of the perforated build plate. It's manageable. It's not the end of the world. You just kind of learn to use supports. I was always an avid user of printing directly on the plate and just kind of dealing with the flat footing. But ever since that machine, again, it's taken me out of my comfort zone of doing that and printing on support specifically. So it's not the end of the world. I feel like the best files for purchasing your printer are the files from Black Forge Games. I think that's the one that they showed off for the Mega, if I'm not mistaken. That Samurai one. I think that's who makes that, which I still want to get. I have to see. Resin at Resin Minis, you can use that mono to print parts that are not that detailed. Thought of that. Oh, you know what? I just realized that I am live on some pages and I'm not going to be able to see anybody's comments on there. So I hope people are not commenting on one of my pages and I'm not seeing it. Oh, there totally is people. My apologies, everybody. Hopefully you can do that for us. Do what? See, one of the problems with using StreamYard is that I stream on certain Facebook pages and it doesn't connect on here. So sorry, I didn't see everybody's comments on here, like Van, Muhammad. Is this your house or your studio? This is my house. Christopher Lannon, Mach 5 was in here. I don't know if he still is. William, how's it going? AK resins have smaller particles, so it will make a difference for smoother finishes. Gotcha. Thanks for the information. I didn't even look at it. Love the look of this unit. Yeah, I'm kind of so-so with the hood, but again, that's a personal preference thing. So, yep, he watches the prints too. Something retro can make with this? Absolutely, Adam. You can definitely make some retro. Case in point, this printer right here, it actually has a cover for Game Boy Micro on it. So that's for one of our fellow retro people. So, and it's in toilet bowl cleaner blue. That's what I'm gonna name that color because it's literally it's a clear blue and it looks like toilet bowl water when it's on there. So, uh, anyway, let's see. You can use that mono to print parts that are not that detailed. Yeah, that's kind of pointless though. Use my FDM printers for anything functional. Yeah, I used to use my FDM printers for anything functional as well. So uh, I mentioned the toilet bowl cleaner last stream. Yeah, so that was you. Somebody said that in the stream, and I was like, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna use that for sure. That's too good not to. Like they need to rebrand it. Like it's uh it's just called Clear Blue, but it needs to be called Toilet Bowl Cleaner Blue because it absolutely is 100% toilet bowl cleaner color. Um, I need to try a mono because I am still on square wheels on my resin printer. Huh? Square wheels? I don't get it. Is there something behind that? Square wheels. Anyway, yeah, I'm hoping to get my hands on the Mono 6K. Is it? We're still working out details and everything, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm kind of swamped right now anyway. So, oh, not even on 2K yet. Okay, so like you're at this stage. Well, no, that's even a 2K printer. There's not too many printers that are not 2K out there. So, as someone looking into purchasing their first 3D printer, resin only, would you recommend going big on your first printer like the Sonic 8K or go with something smaller to cut my teeth? I'll be honest, resin printing is going to be the same across all platforms. The only thing is when you go bigger, you fail bigger, it's more expensive. So if you're okay with that and having that slow learning curve, um, then go ahead and go bigger. I do highly suggest that, but I just always suggest a smaller printer for someone because it's easier, it's more compact to deal with. You can get your training wheels on and get to know what you're doing and then upgrade. And the thing is most of the people that I know that get into resin printing and go with a smaller printer, a couple months down the road, they're already into medium-sized printer. So, I mean, in my opinion, just go bigger. Now, with that being said, the Sonic Mini 8K is technically a small printer. With that being said, it's not as small as some other printers that are on the market, but it might change the market on how smaller printers will be in the future because of this, because it's new technology, it's a bigger screen. So this might be the new standard for smaller printers. Who knows? Which that's perfectly fine because this is a pretty large printer for it being a small or mini printer as they call it. So, but yeah, going back to the whole should I get a smaller or bigger printer? You can go as big as you want. In fact, my opinion is the bigger the better because if you do that, it's a one and done. Like if you got a printer like that, you're one and done, in my opinion. Like you probably will not need any other resin printer. But again, you use 2 kilograms of resin on that. So what? That's depending on if you can get a deal. Usually they're about $30, so that's $60 worth of resin right there, and you can easily have a failure rates consistently on those printers. But as long as you have your exposure settings correct, you do a calibration print. These things, if you do this, the chances of failure will be significantly reduced. So there's three things I tell people when they're getting into resin printing. Resin exposure settings is your number one priority. Dial that in and then go from there. Do not print anything. I wouldn't even suggest doing a test print. We're just doing this just for the shits and giggles, to be honest. Um, Always do a test print. Then print orientation is going to be your next one. So take for example, okay, we're going to print this. Let's say this is a box. Okay, it has walls on it. Imagine this is a box, because I don't really have I do have a box here. We were just discussing this yesterday on the live stream. I want to print this box. Okay, it has this hollow part because it has to have, it's a hollow box basically. All right, so it's just a square. I'm not going to print this like this on this printer. I'm not, because what's going to happen is resin is going to pool on the top here. Even if I support it, resin is going to pool. So what you want to do is you want to have a drip. So most of the time people think, all right, I'm going to print it on the build plate like this and it'll work. Yeah, it might work, but you're still having a area where you need to drip it off properly. So my suggestion is put it on an angle like this and tip it about 30 degrees, and there you go. You have a nice drip off. You are able to put your supports on there. It'll hold very well, and you'll have minimal layer lines due to like the suction of the FET film, and that'll work perfectly fine. So I always suggest that. And then lastly is your supports. You really just have to tinker with that because each and every model is going to vary on the type of supports. For the most part, I do use Phrozen's supports on a lot of prints. But when I do something that's like a solid print, like if I was going to print this bust and it was solid, I would probably not use Phrozen supports. I would probably use like a mixture of heavy and medium supports because the Phrozen supports they have their limitations on their weight. So they're great supports, but like I said, they are limited once you start putting some weight on it. So if it's a hollow print, it'll probably work perfectly fine. But if I was going to print that bust solid, I would definitely change up the supports a little bit. So as long as you got those three things down, your printing experience should be perfectly fine. Again, there's going to be some trials and tribulations and learning on how to do those properly with each and every print. But that comes with anything: FDM printing, resin printing, anything like that. So it's just going to happen. So anytime, I'm always here to help if you need as well. Let's see. As I am new, oh, we already read that. Oh wait, no. As I am new to resin printing, would you recommend a screen protector in case of a leak? I just purchased the Anycubic Photon model. I always suggest that. I personally don't use them. Like something this size, I probably would because to replace a screen on that Mega is about $500. So that's not a hit I really want to take. But like something small here or something that's readily available part wise, I'm not going to be worried about it. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 3 years now. Well, it's been over 3 years actually. And I've only damaged screens 3 times and I've replaced FEP 4 times. But again, I do this a lot. I do this all the time. So I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm not saying I'm professional in any way, but I have the experience. That's basically where it's at. So I know how to look for certain things and make sure that, the vats are clean and everything. And sometimes, yeah, that slips up and, I go to set a print and then I'll hear it like that because there's something left in the vat. I missed it. It happens. It's going to happen. So I always suggest, yeah, having a screen protector. Check out a company called Mach 5. That's MACH F5 IVE. I think they are on Amazon, and you should be able to purchase the products from them. And they have a good list of products. Again, we'll probably work with them on this and get a screen protector for this as well out there for those who want it. But yes, I do always suggest that for new people just in case. So, thank you for answering my question. Absolutely, anytime. My first print on the 8K used 2.5 kilograms of resin. My first print, yeah, it probably used about that much too, because I did the Frozen, the Wakanda helmet. God, Black Panther, Jesus. So I did that, and I did that in Ivory 4K, and I gave it to my coworker because he's all about Wakanda forever. So I was like, yeah, you can't really wear it. It's more like a display piece, but yeah, you can go ahead and have it. So this is Z-axis railing mechanism, the same thickness across the board of the Mega 8KZ axis railing system. I wonder if you can modify the rail system from the Mega 8K onto the Mini 8K. Ooh, size-wise, definitely bigger on the Mega. Definitely bigger, like considerably bigger. There, let's get a tape measure out. So roughly, it's about 4 inches wide on that one, and I'm guessing this is going to be like 5 or 6 on this. Yeah, so it's about an inch bigger. So to take that off and use it on this, it's not going to happen without modification. Nice try, though. Get that increased 400 millimeter Z-axis height on the Mini 8K. That way it is the same across the board. Yeah, no, unfortunately you can't do that. But you can always see about doing upgrades yourself. I don't see why you can't source out parts and get them. There's a place called, what is it, Open Build? Open Rail? Open Rail. Yeah, Open Rail, where they sell extrusion for pretty much any type of printer or CNC machine. You can basically build your own 3D printer from anything in terms of extrusion rail. And you can probably build something off of that and, customize it to your own liking. So, what are the resins you would recommend for those of us who are just starting out? I'm getting a Creality Sky for Christmas. Thanks for sharing your experience with us. The Sky, first off, great choice. I have an Alpha unit, so it kind of can never be upgraded. It just sits as it is. It's not the end of the world, but the biggest downfall of that printer is its slicer. So I usually do all my work in a different slicer. I use Shitubox. You can use Lychee. I'll export that STL with the supports and everything on it into a file as an STL file, and then I'll import it into the Hellet Sky and just slice it and then throw it onto the printer. I don't touch any of the settings except for on the printer itself to do the calibration, and that's pretty much it. So I don't use that slicer at all. That it's absolute trash. But as for resins, you can really use any resin. I always suggest staying away from water washable resin for a couple reasons. One, water washable resins are usually super brittle. The only one that's not brittle, that's kind of a nicer one, is the Ministry of Resin. It's kind of got like a wax additive into it, I believe. So it's not 100% water washable. You can use IPA with it. So that's why that's a little bit better than most of the water washable resins. So you can use either or, it's fine. But the other thing is water washable resin, a lot of people misuse it. And I'm not calling anybody out specifically or anything like that, but I've seen several posts where people take pictures of a print and it's literally in a sink, in a kitchen sink. Like, don't don't use water washable like that. Please, please do not. I really think it should be not marketed at all, but that's a whole battle that I will never ever win. And so I let it slide, and I let people know about the issues that I personally have with them. And that's the biggest thing is like wash. So down below here, I have my wash bucket filled with denatured alcohol. If you were using water washable and you go and put that out in the sun, the chances of you evaporating all that stuff is very, very slim in a couple days, even. Whereas denatured alcohol, if I put that outside by tomorrow, all that'll be dried up, it'll be gone. It'll just have dried resin at the bottom. Like that's how fast that stuff just dissipates, especially in the sun. So it's just the waste wise is a lot harder to get rid of. A lot of people misuse it by washing it off in the sink. Please, please do not do that. You are draining chemicals into your water supply, and that is not good for anybody. Um, and then lastly, like I said, water washable is usually pretty brittle. So I just always tell people to steer away from it. But if you are needing to go water washable for whatever reason, go with the Ministry of Resin. That's probably the better one that I've had. And then the other one I wanted to add in is my experience with water washable resin. Because I live in Chicago, Illinois, temperatures fluctuate constantly here. So my prints tend to crack pretty easily, whether it be solid or hollow. They always crack. So I just moved away from water washable, period. Standard and ABS resins are perfectly fine. I would suggest going a little bit more on the ABS side because you got a little bit more strength on it. If you want something that has a little bit more flex, and I'll show you guys off. This is kind of cool. They're a little bit more expensive. 3DRS resins are really good for their model resin, or Hero as it's called. There's Monocure 3D that has their model resin. And then there's QTS from Overhang Labs that I use. And that's what I printed with this. And you can kind of see it is Vigo. It is Vigo. So you can see Vigo. So this is a lithophane that I printed on the Sonic Mega 8K. And this was printed with model resin. At the time when I was printing, I did not know that it was model resin. When I took it off, I was like, wow, this is really, really flexible and it's warped. Oh, I did a terrible job. What did I do wrong? I didn't do anything wrong. It's the resin. So this is model resin. So everybody's like, oh my God, resin is super brittle. Is it? Is it though? Is it? So you can definitely have some resin that's flexible. So if you're looking for like something for miniatures, model resin is your go-to. You definitely want that. But I highly suggest using ABS resin for your first off. PLA resin from eSun is usually my go-to for most of my stuff, but it does still chip and crack pretty easily. So, but it's got lower odor. It's kind of more friendly. It's not friendlier to the environment to regular resin. That's pretty much any resin you use is not going to be environmentally friendly, no matter what they tell you. Always read the SDS sheets just to make sure you know what you're using if you want to be on the safe side. So, but yeah. Let's see here. Couldn't you put more of an angle on it to reduce the print time? Yes, you can. But the issue there is then you have to add more supports. So at that point, you have to balance print time with print material. So do you want to use more material and less print time, or more print time and less material? You got to wager that. So yeah, you can absolutely do that, 100%. So is that printer using Shitu boards? Yes. All the Phrozen printers are still using Shitu boards, but like I said, even though they are technically locked down, Phrozen has been very open to work with Lychee Slicer, unlike other people that, as far as I can see, have not worked with Lychee. So, like I said, I know Lychee already has their hands on one of these. They're already working on it. I don't know if they got a profile set up for it, but if they do, I will try and use it and show it off to you guys. But they definitely are in the process of doing a breakthrough for the Sonic Mini already. So for those worried, oh, I'm just going to be locked down to Shitu box. That's not going to be the case when people actually get their hands on the Sonic Mini. That's not going to be the case. You're going to be able to use different slicers for sure. I can guarantee that. That's the most annoying thing. I'm not sure. Oh, the burnt when your printer doesn't go all down all the way. So usually what that means is there's something wrong. So stop it. I usually turn off the machine and then I'll raise the Z-axis height and then see what's going on. Usually it's something that I missed on the build plate, or there's a little piece in the bat somewhere, and I'll just try and remove it, and hopefully it's okay from there. But sometimes it does do damage. It happens. What do you mean by Phrozen support? So Phrozen on their Facebook page, they had a setup for the Mega, and basically they put out a post saying, hey, this is our supports if you guys would like to use them. And I use Sheet2Box Pro, so I can manually put those in and save it as a different profile. Whereas like Sheet2Box Free, you have light, medium, or heavy. That's all you can do with it. With Sheet2Box Pro, you can add your own support and save them. So if you have a really good support setting and you want to share it out with the community, as long as they have they have Sheet2Box Pro, they can utilize that and have a better printing experience. So that's what's kind of cool. Excuse me. I'm having a major heartburn. It's the downfalls of being old. Patrick Brimman, not sure if the sales are still going on, but Soraya Tech had a BOGO sale going on, and Anycubic had a buy two get one free. Yeah, I know a lot of people had that going on, so always check around for deals. And to be honest, all resins are going to be pretty much the same. You don't have to stick with one specific brand. Like, I don't have to print with Phrozen resin if I don't want to. I can throw on the Nova resin, which is Elegoo and Anycubic resin. It's the same stuff. What is it? Wise Tech. Okay, I can use that. Monicure 3D, I can use that. Phrozen, I can use that. What else is over here? eSun, I can use that. Resin is resin. As long as it says LCD and 405 NM, you can use it on any printer you want. You don't have to be brand specific. If you want to be brand specific, that's fine. But you're not locked down to that. You can literally use anybody that you want. I can't tell you how many different resins I have up here. Like, there's probably 30 different manufacturers. And I even got some new resin from Sheet2Box, or Sheet2 Systems, as they call it. And that's their new resin that they sell, which that's basically one of the main manufacturers of resin is Jamhe. That's Jamghe. They make most of the resin on the market, which I believe they make all the resin for Elegoo and Anycubic. So I'll double check those sales. Love this community. Thanks for answering my question. Absolutely. And I'm always around on Facebook groups. I have my 3D printing for noobs group. If you need any assistance, join that. You guys can message me on Facebook. I'm always available. I I might not be able to answer your question right then and there because I don't always have the ability to help in terms of like a slicer or anything because I'm usually at work. But I always have my phone on me. I can always answer questions to my best ability and help you get printing again. So, or help you with whatever issue you have, whether it be it resin or FDM printers. So, let's see. Do you use a distiller on your alcohol at all, or how do you clear your alcohol? Where is it? I just used it the other day. What did I do with that? I don't know what I did with it. So, Sovol on Amazon has this. Um, God, I'm drawing a blank. Um, a filter, a funnel. Jeez. So Sovol, Sovol, has a funnel on Amazon, and it has two removable grate systems. And I use that for resin. I use that for alcohol straining and everything. And that's basically what I do. So I'll cure my alcohol, let it sit like for a day or two, cure it. I'll even cure it in the system right here because I have an Anycubic wash and cure. I'll cure it right in there, and then I'll basically um, let it sit for a couple days, and then I'll strain it out. And usually I'll have my old stuff, and I'll put it in a different bottle, and I'll use that as a pre-wash. Well, I don't know why I did that, but yeah, I'll use it as a pre-wash. So I'll have like a little tub here. I'll just kind of rinse off my prints before they go into my actual wash station. And that's just to make sure that that wash station is as clear as possible for the longest period of time. So I always suggest doing a pre-wash if you guys are going to be doing resin printing. So, what's your opinion on Soraya Tech? I have 4 kilograms of it has to go in the bin because I have not used my printer for a year and 4 bottles have gone out to date. Had chance to try it yet. So I've used expired resin and it'll work. You just have to constantly mix it, but it'll work. Just make sure that you constantly mix it. You can't, like most of these printers, like that's been sitting for about 4 days in the vat. That's been sitting for about a day in the vat. That's been sitting about a week in the vat, resin. So you just can't leave it sitting. You have to constantly mix it. So you can use old resin. You just have to constantly mix it. Or if you want, my browser has lost connection to my camera. What? Oh boy. There we go. What the heck? Okay, so that was weird. Anyway, so yeah, basically, what is going on here? Oh boy, we died. I don't know what's going on. Come on, what's going on with you? I think my HDMI thing is dying here. Anyway, um, resin will work perfectly fine no matter how old it is. You just need to constantly mix it the older it gets. The other thing you can do is take a new resin bottle and just slightly mix it in there, and that way you can just kind of use it up a little bit. That's what I'm going to end up doing with a couple of these bottles because they're getting close to being expired. It's a color that I don't use, and then there's another one that's elastic that I need to use up because that stuff is really hard to print with. But yeah, basically that's what you can do to utilize old resin. You don't have to throw it out. So um, I'll have to look up that Phrozen supports you mentioned on the Facebook page. That sounds useful. It is. And you can even adjust on Sheet2Box free to use that as well. So, yeah, I mix different resins as well. and works fine as well. Even used a little of ABS-like resin and mixed them with regular resin to increase durability, mixing a 10-to-1 rotation, and it works well. Yeah, you can absolutely use that. So yeah, I wouldn't throw it away. Just mix it with some other resins if you want. Just mix it a little bit here and there. So like if you get a different resin completely, like okay, you have Tech. Let's say you went out and you got some cheap ones from Cyber Monday or whatever, and you have some Anycubic, and you have like Tenacious. Okay, go ahead and mix a little bit in there to give it a little bit of flex, and just mix it very well. Print your model, and then that's it. You know, there's a lot of people that print exactly how much is in that vat. Like they need to make sure that okay, if I'm printing a model, my slicer says 400 grams of resin. That's all I'm putting in my vat, and that's it. So a lot of people are like that. I personally don't care. I'm just going to fill the vat to the line. If it needs to add more, it needs to add more. That's basically how I print. So I don't really have an issue with that. So it looks like we're going okay. We're at 21%. This is going to take 40 more minutes, right? I think that's right. Or is that 20 more minutes? Sorry, 2 hours. 2 hours. So we've been printing for 40 minutes. Sorry. Yeah. So I wouldn't throw out any resins. Case in point, I think. Speaking of my Tech that I have, I probably had it for about a year now. Where are you? Let's see when the expiration date is on this, if there even is one. There isn't even an expiration date on this. So, but I know that's pretty old. I have some Tech sculpt that I was going to use for some projects, and yeah, that never got around to being useful. So let's see if I can manage over here and get the Sonic Mini 4K up here, so you guys can have a comparison with it. It's sitting right here. So it's it's considerably larger than the Sonic Mini. The original Sonic Mini is right here. So this is the hood to the Sonic Mini. It's pretty small. Definitely small. Like this entire printer, I can probably almost fit underneath the hood of this printer alone. So yeah, considerably larger. We'll have to do a yeah. That's a heck of a difference. If you guys can even see. So that's sitting on the table. So you got what, probably another good 3 inches easily in terms of height alone. And then I'm going to try and pull out the Mighty. See if I can finesse this out of here. So there's the mini, the new mini, and the mega, mighty, and then the mega. So yeah, so it'd be more comparable to the mighty in terms of size. So let's just do a comparison. So you have about 11 inches wide on there compared to the mighty, which is about 11 and a half inches. So it's almost the same width as the mighty. In terms of length, about 11 there. And it looks like it's about, yep, so 11. So they're just about the same in terms of length-wise. And height-wise, total, 17 inches. We're about just under 17 inches. Yeah, we're right at 17 here. We're at like 16 and 7/8. So just slightly smaller in terms of total height. That size comparison solidifies my want to sell my Mono X now and just buy a crap load of resin for the amount I make off of the sale. See, there you go. But I will say that, you know, the thing that makes the difference between like this and a Mono X is the size, printing size wise. So the build plate, I don't know what a build plate size of the Mono X is. But let's see. Let's go ahead and close that. Oh, where did I go with that? Oh, I turned it off. That's right. Okay. So printing size for this is 16.5 by 7.2 by 18 centimeters. Yeah, I think you'll be okay. So, plus this has got way newer technology over the Mono X. Like I said, it's got an integral light source, so that right there, like I'm excited to see how this print comes out because I really want to see the quality of it. That's the thing that's going to be the big factor on this printer. If the light source is just as good as my Hallett series printers, this is going to go far because that, in my opinion, just seeing that type of light source, that changes everything in terms of quality. So, yeah, the Mighty is not too bad. I think those are about $400 or $500. But like I said, this is considerably cheaper feeling than this printer is. Like this feels like a solid printer. This literally feels like, hey, we wanted to make something that competes with the Elegoo Saturn, but it has a bigger screen because it's self-developed by Phrozen, and it's got a little bit larger build area in some way, and so we had to skimp on some other parts, and they basically skimped from the bottom down. It's not a huge issue. It still prints the way that it's intended to. It just feels cheap. That's the difference. Oh, and then this unit, this is the first generation unit, so this actually has a plastic bat on it, unlike the newer ones that have a metal one. And I think they even have like extra grips on the newer ones, if I'm not mistaken. So, but we can show you comparison wise. So considerably large build plate compared to that one.
So let's see. I can't do math in my head. So let's do millimeter to centimeter. Why can't you just do conversion for me? Oh, there we go. So it's 165 by 72 by 180. So this I know is 220 Z height. So it's a little bit taller in the Z height than this printer. Even though this is only half an inch taller or 7/8 taller than this printer, the base is where the differences really matter, like the size, and then also the vat size is considerably larger on this printer. So but yeah, let's I think that's pretty much it, guys. It's getting close to being 3:30. We've been on the stream for about almost 2 hours now. That's usually about the max that I want to be on here. We're about an hour and 47 minutes into the stream. So we're going to cut this off here in a little bit. It is 3:23 right now. I'll cut it off in the next 7 minutes because there's really not much to show you else. Otherwise, the print itself, but that's not going to be done for a little while. So what I can do is we can show off the information about the printer itself if anybody needs that. So let's go ahead and do a share screen, and we will share out what we have information-wise. So basically, okay, so we're going to just kind of go over the information about it. So comparing it to most resin printers, 6.6 and a 4.7. They did this specifically because this is really, really high detail. This is going to be very close to like DLP technology. So, but obviously it's still LCD, so it's not the end of the world. Um, so how do you feel about scuffing up a build plate on a resin printer? I have leveled my bed to only get 3/4 of the plate to stick. So if you're having issues with that, first I would make sure that your resin is calibrated. Always do a calibration print on your resin printer. Make sure that you are getting the right exposure because you can be off 0.2 of a second and that could matter the world. And that could be one of the reasons why it is just not working. I know with like some of the lower end printers, like specifically the Elegoo printers, they've had issues where they had unlevel beds. So you can sand down the build plate. Just one warning, doing that will promote super adhesion, so it might not be the best thing. So I suggest using like an 80 grit sandpaper to scuff it up a little bit. So validation matrix is what I use. Yes, it's a lower end Voxelab. Okay, so it's a Callan printer, which is the same thing as an Elegoo. So yeah, I would just go ahead and just double check that you're level before you do anything. And if need be, go ahead and scratch up your build plate with some 80 grit sandpaper and see how it goes. The other thing is maybe up your bottom exposure a little bit. For monochrome, I usually keep mine at about 30. For RGB, it's usually about 55 to 60. So for Voxelab, if you're using a Proxima, use 30. but don't go past 40. Anything past that, you're kind of burning it. There's absolutely no need to have it burning that resin. And if you're using a Polaris, then yeah, don't go over 60. Anywhere between 50 and 60, you should be good for your bottom layer. So try those things first. Level, adjust your bottom exposure, and then just make sure that everything's good. If you're still having the same results, then all right, go ahead and scratch up your build surface. But try those first before you do any drastic measures, in my opinion. So, all right. So anyway, resolution wise, we're looking at 35 UM. I'll be honest, 35 for smaller printers, yeah, that's like the Sonic Mini 4K. But most smaller 4K printers, well, there's not many out there. The Elegoo Mars 3 is the newest one, actually. So I guess that's 35. I haven't really looked into it, to be honest. This one's 22 microns, and this one's 80. That is debatable. I don't know if that's 100% true. Usually they're about 40-ish. So I don't know if that's 100% true. I don't know too much about DLP printers. This is really where it's going to matter. This also has to do with like anti-alicing or anti-lacing, however you want to say it. So a lot of printers have this issue where people just don't have it enabled. I don't usually have it enabled unless I see this majorly on a print. Then I'll go back, reprint it, and enable it. But with the light source, that'll also help tone that down a little bit more too. So 4K to 8K. Yeah, so you can see the difference in the ring. That's kind of cool that they have that slider where you see that. Now, I have noticed this with 4K resin printers that the smoothness is not 100% there. So also take case in point, if you use regular resin on this printer, you might get down to that 4K quality. So if you're going to utilize this printer, try and utilize 8K resin, but it's not the end of the world if you don't. This is what's the big selling point on resin printers for myself right now is the integral light source setup. And that basically is a projection light, and that goes onto a mirror. This is exactly what the Hellet series uses. Not as fancy looking. Theirs is very archaic compared to this. This is really a nice setup. But that's also why that base is also double the size of the Mighty. And that's to accommodate for this. It's got its own heat sink and everything. So it's very, very nice to see that. Linear rails, that comes with anything. It's nice that it's dual linear rails. That's not something you see on smaller printers. So that's another additive selling point. That's always nice to have the added stability for that. And then this build plate, like I said, even though it's diamonds or whatever, it's diamonds within a diamond. So it's kind of cool to see that. I don't know how well that's like a major difference, but we'll see how the adhesion promotion is on this. So I don't know if that's going to help in any way, shape, or form. We'll see. But other than that, I mean, that's really about it. This is like I said, the main thing that I am really excited about. And then also, it looks like it uses USB 3.0. So if you have specifically 3.0 card or USB drives, you might be able to get faster printing ability. I don't know how well that is, but I would think that would be have that ability. So you can print from layer thickness 0.1 to 0.30. So very, very fine detail if you need. Like I said, it's not just locked down to sheet 2 box. By the time people get these in their hands, you will have the ability to use lychee. Printing size is, like I said, very similar to the Phrozen Sonic Mighty. So, and then also, yeah, there's different bundles and everything. All these are sold out. These are just the pre-orders that were going on. So, and they will also include some of these really, really high detail ones.
I've been in contact with the creator of Dark Gods. He's a really cool guy. So I got some prints from him that I'm going to utilize. This is something I'm going to look into as well, but I don't know if I exactly need it. I think it's a little over needed for my usage, but it would still be cool to take a look at it and see. And this is basically their updated shipping of when they are going to be shipping uh, their specials. So I don't know if this is going to get pushed back a little bit because they are running a little bit behind. But from last I heard, the super early birds are going to be shipping December 6th, so this Monday. I don't know if that's still true or not. We will have to see. So, but yeah, not too bad. Even for the double pack, if you got in that, that was $879. That's a really really good deal for that. Shoot, even the triple pack is $1,300. That's a really really good deal. And then these are just your shipping fees and everything. That's typical. 150. Yeah, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, that's a lot of money." Well, yeah, shipping is very expensive. To ship a printer in the United States, so if I shipped it from here to Washington, I live in the Midwest, the central of US, and if I were to ship even on the East Coast, it's even more expensive to ship on the East Coast. So if I shipped to Seattle, which I did recently, to ship a printer of that size was $80, the lowest possibility. No insurance. It was $80 just to ship inside the US. To ship to the East Coast was $95 to ship something small. So it's getting real crazy. So Amazon is looking better and better in terms of shipping. As much as I don't like to support them, but it is what it is. You can't really beat them. So, but we'll throw on some prints later on and see how well they do. I'm not holding my breath out for anything spectacular, but hey, if it comes out to be as fine detailed as they say it's going to be, that's awesome. That's going to be great, especially for those who are doing like miniatures and really high detailed models. Like I said, once you start getting into that 4K and the 8K range, it's really going to boil down to the model that you are utilizing uh, for detail because the naked eye will not see the differences. And that's basically why you see like a very close up shot to some of these models because you see the high detail on it. So will you be able to see the detail between an 8K and a 2K printer? You might be able to notice that one because that's a huge difference. You're basically half of the micron resolution of a normal printer. So Anycubic anti-aliasing, what's that? Yeah, I've heard a lot about that. Once you finish the stream, come over, do Jerry show. I will have to see Matt. I really should be cleaning. So if I am going to join the show, I'm basically going to be not talking that much and doing a lot of cleaning because my goal was to clean the basement down here today. So, but other than that, guys, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and leave them down below. I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. You guys can always reach out to me on various platforms here on YouTube, TikTok under Akuma Mods, Instagram under Akuma Mods, my Facebook Akuma Mods page, my profile on Facebook, Matt Farmer, and then my 3D printing for noobs group on Facebook, which that's where I spend most of my time and make sure that everything's going right. Making sure that we got people who are newcomers, very settled in and printing and whatnot. So I do spend a lot of time on that. But yeah, you can catch me pretty much anywhere, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So I hope you guys like the stream. If and like I said, you got any other questions that you need answered, go ahead and feel free to contact me. I did leave a link down below to the pre-order. Once I have an official link to buy the printer, I will set up my affiliate link for that, and that way we can get that all set.
But one thing I wanted to leave you guys with this weekend, come Monday, actually, I'm going to set up another giveaway. So we just did our giveaway for the Ender 5 Pro, which we got a redraw for because the person never contacted me. But with that being said, the good folks at Phrozen 3D have allowed me to set aside a package that I am going to purchase with my own money, and it's going to be a New Year giveaway. I wanted it to be a Christmas giveaway, but with the time frame and delays and everything, it's not going to happen. So we're going to basically do it as a 2022 giveaway, and I'm going to start that on Monday. It's going to be a YouTube giveaway, and it will be for a Frozen Sonic Mini 8K and a bottle of 8K resin as well. So this package right here is going to be the giveaway. So stay tuned for that. Don't miss out on it, and just keep your eye open. I will announce everything come Monday, and yeah, good luck with that. And I thank you guys all for watching, ladies and gents. And that's pretty much it. Until next time, guys. Happy printing.